What is up, homies? Welcome back to another trailer reaction from Heroes Reforged. We're reacting to the official trailer for The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. I'm excited to check this out. This is another entry in the Lord of the Rings universe, but it's an anime. And it comes from the director who worked on the Blade Runner anime as well. So I'm assuming that this is going to come with a lot of excitement from a lot of people who've watched those animes. I have not seen them, so I'm not super familiar with them. Peter Jackson also has some involvement in this. I don't know if it's maybe a producer role or whatever it is, but that's also really cool because it's just another extension of potentially that universe that he adapted. So I'm stoked to check this out. But before we do, I want to remind you, you can check out all the uncut reactions for everything that we're watching, all the shows and movies on our Patreon. Sync it up with us, watch along. We're doing TMNT, Tales of the TMNT. It's a really fun time. And we're jumping into new movies every week, talking about them on the Checkskins podcast. And we're going to be changing a few things on our Patreon very soon here. So be on the lookout for that video. We're going to dive into some of the changes that we're going to be implementing over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So we hope you're excited. We also do have uncut watch-alongs of The Lord of the Rings, the theatrical versions on our Patreon as well, that still have not seen the light of day on YouTube, but they are on Patreon. They're on there. They're a good time. They're a really good time. And of course, The Rings of Power is coming out next week. We're going to be watching that as well. And we already have uncuts for that entire first season as well. So lots of Lord of the Rings, a lot more Lord of the Rings than I guess I remember us doing, but some of those things were from a few years back. So I guess it would make sense, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing we have to do now, Lord of the Rings wise, is watch the old school animated one.
Oh, I'm so down.
And then the Three Hobbits.
Oh, you're right. Oh, speaking of which, hold on. I've completed my Hobbit collection. I got all 3 of them in 3D.
In 3D, excellent.
Yeah, a couple of them are the extended editions. And then I found this steelbook.
Ooh.
That is the 3D version.
Whoa.
It is pretty nice.
Just which one? It's just
this
all
is
three in 3D?
Just Unexpected Journey, just the first one in the Hobbit series.
I see.
But it's a really nice steelbook, and I didn't realize that it was 3D, and I was like, oh my god, I might as well just get that too. So
3D
I'm ready to go whenever you motherfuckers are ready to go. So you tell me when, and I'm good.
We're ready. We're gonna have to, if we do 3D, we're gonna have to do those in person somewhere. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If not, we'll just do the normal versions.
Yeah. I have to come here and watch it on the enormous projector screen.
Hey, you just let us know. You just let us know. I'm not sure. I'm not very well versed on the War of the Rohirrim. I probably should be, but I've been taking a deep dive into the Silmarillion. So this is all gonna be. I'm gonna look out for cues to see if I can figure out where to place this in the timeline, obviously, whatever characters are involved. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I know some people might be weirded out the fact that it's anime. I never imagined that there would be a Lord of the Rings project in anime, but this is actually really cool. I'm all for telling new stories, especially in animation, with Lord of the Rings. So let's get into it. I feel like we've been taking way too long now. Let's go.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Okay, Peter Jackson presents. Okay.
Cool.
Ooh, this music. Oh, this music. Ooh. Oh, Lord. It tickles my brain in just the right spot.
Tingles the jingles just right. Oh, nice. Kenji Kamiyama.
All Middle-earth knows the tale of the War of the Ring. But 200 years before that...
Riders of the Mark! Brothers of Rohan!
So 200 years before Fellowship.
Their tale.
Arise!
Wow.
Oh, wow.
We come with an offer to strengthen Rohan.
Héra, daughter of Helm, I, Wulf, seek your hand in marriage.
Our fathers speak as if I were not even in the room. I do not want to marry you.
You do not seek an alliance. You seek a throne. You will live to regret this, old man.
Ooh, damn.
He's dead?
What?
Yo.
Oh my god. Jeez.
Hell yeah.
You would never wish for war.
The boy you knew is gone.
Fire!
There's so many of them.
Oh wow.
To fight for my king.
You know nothing of war.
I'm the fastest rider you have.
People
Dang.
hope, Héra. Something to believe in.
Yeah, the Eagles, baby.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
My joy.
Whoa.
Ooh.
The world.
You think I am afraid of you?
Nice. This looks great.
Dang, this looks exciting.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
What does Mordor want with rings?
Oh, whoa.
Who's that?
In IMAX. Yeah.
Oh wow, they're
Damn,
going for it.
sign me up for IMAX.
Yo, it looks like they put a lot of money behind this project because that looks great.
It's a Warner Brothers animation project. It's distributed by New Line Cinema. It's executive produced by Fran Walsh and Peter Jackson and Sam Register and Toby Emmerich. Philippa Boyens was also producer on it. So it's definitely got a lot of the people from The Lord of the Rings. Oh, and Philippa Boyens gets a story credit on here. So
excellent.
Quite a bit of involvement from the people who worked on the first iteration of the Lord of the Rings films. Also, I didn't know this, but is Middle Earth Enterprises, is this sort of like the new home or the new ownership of the Lord of the Rings, like the brand?
That's my first time hearing about this enterprise company. Maybe. I mean, maybe they're starting like a whole new company because they want to do kind of like Avatar Studios is kind of expanding. Right. Hopefully they have something like that here as well. That'd be rad.
Yeah, and I guess that would make sense because I do remember that when they announced Lord of the Rings of Power, there were certain elements they couldn't adapt or couldn't, not that maybe it was couldn't, but for a certain period of time, they're off the table because Warner Brothers still wanted to do something with it on the film side. So I remember vaguely there being things about that. But in terms of this, like this looks amazing. I absolutely would love to go see this in a theater. Like this would be I think this will be a really amazing and special thing to see on the big screen.
I hope we get invited to the opening screener to this just to see it in like the first couple episodes in IMAX, huge projection, great sound. I feel like I said, the production quality looks top notch on this. I'm glad that they're using the Lord of the Rings music. Yeah. I would like to kind of see it expanded. I'd like to see kind of Bear McCreary kind of take a stab at the music from this era to add to the lore of Lord of the Rings, basically. But overall, dude, the action looks great. Animation looks dope. The character designs are working for me. It strangely feels very at home in the Lord of the Rings world, even though it's anime. So that's really dope.
Yeah, and so worth mentioning that it's not a series, it's a film.
Oh, I thought it was a series.
No, it's a film. Yeah, it's an anime film. Original anime film.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, so there you go.
So that's why it's getting a theatrical distribution in December.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which is kind of nice because like that is going to feel like going home because I think all the Lord of the Rings films came out in December, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
November, December.
Christmas movies.
Yeah, so that's going to be really cool. So the fact that it's Peter Jackson, Philippa Boyens, Fran Walsh, and then, having this amazing new animation style with a story that takes place within the same universe, but predates the original trilogy that Peter Jackson made. I think that's such a smart way to expand the universe. And I think we talk about it all the time. We're talking about it now in the middle of Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And even though that film is already 3D animated, it's just talking about how you can expand these worlds and you don't have to rely on live action. Live action's great if you have an abundance of cash, which, yes, these studios to a certain extent do have them. Warner Brothers has been going through its troubles for the last few years, ever since it has had its newest leadership. And I would hate for them to greenlight The War of the Rohirrim as a live action film and then cut the budget in half, or then cut it from theaters to streaming, or they just completely remove it from their slate as a tax write-off, and then it never sees the light of day. I think with animation, and especially because Warner Brothers Animation, they have been doing some amazing things for the last, forever, basically. And they've proven themselves time and time again with all of the original animated films that they have. They can take on something like this, and they can work with other studios to produce these great animated projects. And now they have a director who has incredible experience working on so many great anime things that are highly regarded. So it currently has the recipe for what I think could be a really successful project. I just hope that fans give it a shot, because we talk about this all the time too. A lot of people, and I was in this camp too, a lot of people kind of have like their nose up at animation. They're like, oh, it's beneath live action. And I think, and you and Hector have really convinced me of this, that animation has the flexibility to do basically anything and everything that they want, or that they can creatively think of within the means of all the tools that they have. So they have huge flexibility to do whatever they want. So I'm super stoked about this. I cannot wait to jump into more Middle-earth stuff. And the fact that it takes place and predates the Lord of the Rings trilogy is kind of just icing on the cake for me.
Yeah, I that's very well said, Adam. I think the imagination is the only limit here when it comes to animation, and I think Lord of the Rings really lends itself to that, and it kind of continues the tradition of the old 70s first movie that we got, right? I mean, our first view at Lord of the Rings historically was the animated version. And that was, rotoscoped, and they did the best they could with that one. And that one's got a place in Lord of the Rings history. And so it would be a real shame for people in the Lord of the Rings community to, turn their noses at a project like this when it's already been established that Lord of the Rings can be animated.
Right.
And so to kind of touch on another story, to kind of bring it into the future, to bring it in this new anime medium, because animation, I don't know if people in their minds kind of separate like American animation from Japanese animation when it's all technically the same thing. It's just kind of a different drawing style and maybe like a different storytelling method, but it's all very valid. And to me, it all really works. So I think this show has a lot of really great potential going for it. And I'm sorry, show. I keep calling it a show. This movie has a lot of really great potential for it. And so far, it looks like it's at least fairly accurate to the movie as far as like the armor and the sets kind of go. It's showing the map from Middle Earth fairly accurately from what I can tell in these like short intro shots. So I think it's gonna be great. I'm just looking forward to this. I hope we get a banger out of this one.
Yeah, I agree. And just to highlight the director Kenji Kamiyama, I very obviously I probably have like the most limited experience when it comes to animation and anime in particular. This is someone who worked on Blade Runner Black Lotus, which was an animated series that came out in 2021 and 2022. This project, amongst a bunch of other things, Ghost in the Shell, like so many other things, but Star Wars Visions also. The Ninth Jedi,
and
which
we
was
know how
one of the
much
episodes.
We love that.
Yeah, one of the episodes in the first season. So you bring someone like that into Middle Earth, and like I'm already won over by what I've seen. But you add that in there, and you add the Peter Jackson-ness in there, and I'm like, oh, you're just flexing at this point. Cool.
It's
cool,
a flex.
Cool.
It's a straight up flex. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can't wait to see it. It looks really, really great. But guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What are you looking forward to seeing? And give us one other project that started out as a live action project that you would like to see adapted or expanded in animation of any kind, whether it's anime, traditional 2D, 3D. Let us know in the comments below. Check out everything else that we're watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.